takwathere winsalta opa ayambukepo nokumatira mapo makwatho mukanga itavulu opone etukute akuta Namibia yaganje etupirong.
International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUF for life. We are IUF.
Good evening and welcome to Today on One. I'm Maggie Forciero. In the news tonight, it's not a publicity stunt. We are coming for your company, says AR leadership. City Council promises affordable housing to Windhoek residents. Up close with new Ombudsman Basilius Diakua. Agribank introduces Women and Youth Loan Scheme. And Roundup, Business on One, Comments Corner, Sports and the Weather. The affirmative repositioning movement leadership has denied reports calling their recent confrontation with a Chinese employer a publicity stunt to promote their soon-to-be registered labor union, the Revolutionary Union. According to the leadership, once the union is registered, they are coming after employers that are violating labor laws.
If it's a publicity stunt, where is their real work that resolve those matters? We have something to show now here. We have secured these benefits for over 50 black workers. This has nothing to do with some publicity stunt. It's a revolutionary program and people are happy. The wives of those employees are going to be happy. Their families, even themselves, maybe now they'll be very happy. Yeah. So there's no some publicity stunt.
The movement spokesperson Simon Aminime said that he received a call from the Chinese embassy condemning the actions of the movement.
We are completely captured. You are hearing your private citizens of your country. You are getting a Chinese national that is here, a foreigner, an arrivalist that came here to do business, exploiting, sexually abusing a Namibian. There's a gentleman here who was kicked on his balls by Chinese national. We are not even sure that he's going to make children. And the response that comes from the police force is to give my personal number, my name, my surname, my middle name to some Chinese official at the embassy to call me telephonically and threaten me that is not happy with my action. I don't report to the Chinese embassy. And the Chinese embassy can do nothing, literally nothing about it. So that can clearly demonstrate that these Chinese people are very powerful. They've captured the police, they've captured politicians, and the state is completely captured by Chinese nationals. And we, as the emerging generation, we are not going to allow this country to become a playground of Chinese. It's not going to be allowed to become a playground of the rich. So we are not taking those threats lightly from the Chinese embassy, of course, but we are not moved. We are not deterred by their threats and whatever they are saying and how we must conduct ourselves. They must not determine how we are going to run the programs of the movement and all those type of excuses. Because they must understand the law is applicable to everybody. They come and say, no, but why did you not report it to the relevant authorities and those things? Now I'm asking myself, where did you see an institution, an embassy, that wants to solve dispute over a telephonic conversation? It was very shocking because I said, number one, This is an unprofessional conduct from an institution of the state to try and resolve things through telephonic conversation. No, because of COVID, we can't meet. Already even arrogance, they want to say, we black people, if you go to their embassy, we are going to give them COVID. Not even knowing that COVID originated from China.
AR Movement's George Kambala warned white and black business owners to get their houses in order or they will be forced to expose them in a radical way.
No one will be left untouched. Even our family members, we also know that these members of our families, girlfriends, husbands, that are also infringing fellow black Namibians. We shall also come for you. Nobody will be left at even the newsrooms. We know also you people here at the journalists who also understand that you are also being victimized in the newsrooms. No one in this country, as long as you are in employment in this country, you deserve to make a living in a dignified manner. Nobody needs to be abused because of a dollar. And if so, we will also come and interrupt those business operations. Because you can't be saying that no, we need to protect businesses because they pay tax. What about the individual that's making that money to enable that person to pay tax? What about that individual? Should you not say no? Exploit them at free will. It's fire with fire, depending on who you are. You don't care who you are, who you're in bed with, who your mother is. You don't care. But if you are breaking the law, we will deal with you the same way we are breaking the law. Yes. If you are fighting, we'll fight. If I must shut down Pick and Pay, we'll shut down Pick and Pay. There's nobody here in this country that's above the law. Whether you are now contributing business in terms of the economy, we don't care. You can even be the biggest billionaire. We don't care. Yeah. What we care about that is the employees. Are those employees getting what's due to them? Is the working environment fair and just? Are they getting safe the PPEs that are required for them to do that job?
The Revolutionary Union is scheduled to be registered latest in October this year. The movement is also gearing up to shut down companies in the next few weeks for mistreating their employees.
Stay connected during lockdown with unlimited internet from as little as 399 Namibian dollars per month. Get faster home internet at these amazing prices. Sign up now and get free installation plus double the speed, or enjoy double the speed if you're already signed up. Contact us at spectraadmin@mtc.com.na or call toll-free 90-111. Get there with MTC Spectra Home. MTC, make the connection.
The residents of Windhoek can breathe a sigh of relief as the City Council approved funds to tackle the housing crisis. The council has set aside 22 million Namibia dollars for the affordable housing project that is expected to start in Goriangab at a small scale and expand to Simbabasia.
The Windhoek Mayor Joban Panda highlighted some of the objectives the Municipal Council had agreed on during a workshop on a land and housing program last week. He said the aim was to devise strategies on how to provide sufficient land and housing opportunities to address the housing challenge and contain informal urban expansion.
The aim of the workshop held at Midgard last week was to devise strategies on how to provide sufficient land and housing opportunities to our people and simultaneously contain informal urban expansion. We have a waiting list that we are going to prioritize via a land allocation process, the details of which will be communicated in due course. The desired outcome is that our people will have a home free from fear of forced eviction, a place that offers shelter, safety and ability to secure a dignified livelihoods. Mass housing, Ochomisa Extension number 10, the workshop agreed to engage the developer of Ochomisa Extension 10 with mass housing project and agreed to release on the release schedule of completed houses and render the developer the necessary support to fast track the project. Of course, there were some things that have gone wrong there. But we are also saying that we cannot just keep insisting on things that have gone wrong. Remember, we have said about people who are cutting corners. And our understanding of what has been happening there, it was not according to the standard, and saying, okay, fine, let's see how we can engage with that developer in that Ochomisa Extension 10, so that those houses can be released. And if they are released, then we are good to go. We take from our list, and the list keep moving up and up and up and things like that.
He further said although there is now a building program in place, the housing backlog remains a challenge. They hope to clear the current list by next month.
Within a month or so, comfortably in October, the city of Windhoek will have one list, and one list only. And it's going to be both manual and also digital. It's going to be a wonderful improvement. You can be in the comfort of in the United States or in Jamaica or wherever you are going to be, and you are still going to see exactly where you are and how the movement is going to be doing. And also it's going to give an opportunity for researchers on housing. We think that intervention is going to be helpful, because if we adopt the list and we have it on our website, that basically means that everybody will have to engage on the list. Yeah, you come in Windhoek, you don't go and occupy land. Because if you go and occupy land, you think you can force the hand of the mayor, organize some few friends of yours to project a particular character. What are we going to say to people who are genuinely on the list? Even our people in the informal settlement should be informed and should be engaged about opportunities and the procedures of applying for land. Currently we speak loosely about follow the procedures. But that follow procedures is what? Now? Is it when you are saying you have 5 lists, different lists? So once we have a common list, must be there, and there must also be logic.
Panda further warned those instigating land grabbing in the city to wait in line, as they now have a clear direction on delivering land and housing to eligible applicants.
Every Saturday at 7 p.m., you can stay true to Namibia sounds with the Valentine's True Music Sessions. Only on 99 FM. Stay tuned. Stay true. There's no wrong way. Valentine's. Not for sale to persons under the age of 18. Drink responsibly.
President Hage Geingob has nominated Basilius Dakua as Namibia's new ombudsman, succeeding Advocate John Walters, who served in the position for 17 years. Today on One spoke with the recently appointed ombudsman about his professional background, which includes serving as a chief legal officer at the Law Reform and Development Commission in the government's Justice Ministry.
Diakua's appointment comes after the Judicial Service Commission held the country's first ever public interview with 3 candidates contending for the legally mandated office. According to the new ombudsman, his prior employment as a chief legal officer provided him with a wealth of expertise, and he plans to continue working with non-governmental organizations to promote democracy and the rule of law by championing human rights.
I've been around in government, but as just an ordinary senior official, but I was playing the role of defending human rights situation from the government point of view. Now I'm at the other side of the fence. I'm now going to defend the human rights of the citizens as an independent person. So I have gained quite appropriate experience in terms of my work from the government point of view. It's a very good institution to learn how human rights actually operate in the global arena. So I have been in the forefront with the presenting government reports at the UN level, at the African Commission on Human and People's Rights. Their head office is in the Gambia, Banjul. I have been in Geneva. It was like my second home at the Human Rights Council. I have been appearing before the treaty bodies of various committees, because the treaty bodies, they have 10 committees. And as you may know that Namibia is a signatory to all 7 core UN human rights instruments. And we report on most of those instruments. And I have been involved and accompanying the minister's delegation to go and present this report. So I have learned a lot through that. And at home, I am also well networked with the NGOs. So I am connected to all these NGOs, and there are many human rights defenders really in Namibia, and we worked together very well. I will continue networking with them so that we can really continue defend the democracy and the rule of law in this country.
The drafters of the Ombudsman Act 7 of 1990 chose a hybrid model of a legislative and executive ombudsman in which the ombudsman is appointed by the president but accountable to parliament, instead of a legislative ombudsman model in which the ombudsman is appointed by parliament and accountable to parliament. Tiakua says that he is encouraged by the language used by the outgoing ombudsman, who has advocated for an amendment of the Ombudsman Act 7 of 1990, specifically to allow the ombudsman reports to inform Parliament about the activities of the Ombudsman for deliberation and consideration.
I support him on that point. In fact, the role of the Ombudsman is actually to inform Parliament about the activities of the administrative staff, who are actually part of the executive branch of government. And as you may know, National Assembly have oversight over the executive. And they can only do that if they are well informed as what is happening on the ground. And that is the job of the Ombudsman. We feed the National Assembly members about what is actually happening in the various line ministries. And there is actually development happening. There is a new bill proposed, which was proposed by the outgoing ombudsman, and I am encouraged by the language in this bill, which now specifically expressly state that reports will be tabled for deliberation and consideration, not just tabled.
According to the new ombudsman, he will lead by the principles of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, popularly known as the Banjul Charter, to educate the public about the ombudsman's duty as well as people's responsibilities to other citizens and the state.
Agribank introduced the Women and Youth Loan Scheme, which, according to Agribank's Sonia Molebugi, aims to give women and youth access to finance without complicated requirements.
Senior sales manager at Agribank, Sonia Malebugi, says the Women and Youth Loan Scheme will address the lack of financial accessibility due to stringent procedures.
Now, this particular scheme seems to address the issue of lack of access to finance, primarily due to the shortage of collateral or limited collateral, specifically for women and youth, because they are always lagging behind compared to male counterparts or the older generation. So it's for that reason that we revised our products, and we came up with a product that is addressing the need of farmers or startup farmers that would like to take up loans for the bank.
This new product, she says, aims at financial inclusion, economic empowerment, economic growth, and mostly food self-sufficiency.
The qualifying criteria is targeting 3 groups. You have the youth, whose age should be between 18 years and 35 years. And then you have the category of women with no age restriction. However, minimum age should be 18 years. And then we develop an extra category for agricultural professionals who are not women, who are also not youth, however have a specific qualification in agriculture, and they should also be farming on a full-time basis.
The Women and Youth Loan Scheme come with relaxed traditional requirements and conditions, says Malebugi.
So we have relaxed most of our traditional requirements and conditions, such as the requirement for collateral of a fixed property or tangible collateral. So, and also the facilities that are being financed under the particular scheme is cash flow lending, whereby you only provide us with an offtake agreement instead of collateral to secure the loan, irrespective of what type of loan it is. And we are also looking at farmers that are earning a salary and do not have any collateral as well. And we are allowing purchase of farmland or agricultural plots. And specifically for the category of purchase of land, we have also relaxed the 100% collateral requirement. So we are allowing a certain shortfall in order to enable farmers to access land.
Agribank, according to Malebugi, ran several roadshows promoting this product in southern Namibia. In the following weeks, regions such as Khomas, Kunene, Irongo and others in the north can expect promotional campaigns.
Was in and out of prison, dealing and doing drugs. Then a drug deal went wrong. Joseph was robbed, handcuffed, and scared straight out of the business. For 6 months, he roamed the streets as a homeless addict. Then one night, in a baseball dugout, Joseph met a stranger who totally changed his life.
I stand in awe of the power of the God who's our creator. And Terry and I sit here on this program, and the Lord speaks to us, and it's the word of knowledge. It's one of the manifestations of the Holy Spirit.
Something not always godly.
Not always, that's right. That's right. But there's a lot of negative voices out there, as we know.
Yes, there are.
And
so how do you know when it's God saying, Perry, I want to speak this to you right now?
And sometimes you don't know. And I think you pray over it, and you think about it. And sometimes you just, a lot of times I'll just envision, as you and I are talking here today, I may envision that I'm here talking with God. And how am I supposed to address this issue?
Okay? Realize Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He is the same for you right now. So let's pray. Let's call on his name and let him do the rest for you. Let's pray.
In other leading stories, the government of the Republic of Namibia is following with great concern the current developments in the Republic of Guinea and condemns the coup d'etat that culminated in the arrest of His Excellency Prof. Alpha Condé, President of Guinea, the dissolution of the country's constitution and its executive, as well as the closure of Guinea's land and air borders. Namibia expresses its strong disapproval of the lack of respect for the legitimate and democratically elected President of Guinea and calls upon the military to respect the rule of law and return to civilian rule. In this regard, Namibia calls upon the citizens of Guinea not to resort to violence in addressing their concerns. Namibia further reiterates its unwavering support for the principle enshrined in the AU Constitutive Act of condemning and rejecting unconstitutional changes of government. As such, Namibia aligns herself with a statement issued by His Excellency Felix Tshisekedi, President of the Democratic Republic of Congo and Chairperson of the African Union, and His Excellency Moussa Faki Mahamat, Chairperson of the African Union Commission, and reiterates their call for the Peace and Security Council to address this issue as a matter of urgency. In addition, Namibia joins the international community in calling for the immediate and unconditional release of President Alpha Condé and the return to constitutional order.
said. It's interesting to see if we have a look at John 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. In other words, what I see drives me to go out what I say. And I believe this is the goal of our Bible school, to teach me to see. And I dare to say what you see must change your heart. Because you cannot move out if you don't have a changed heart. By the word of God, everything is created. God wants you to speak the word so that things can be created. Say to your neighbor, created.
Joseph Shufeni is standing by for today's edition of Business on One and Economic Indicators.
Welcome to this evening's edition of Business on One. I'm your host, Joseph Shufeni. The Ministry of Finance has expressed concern over fake posts and scams making the rounds on social media platforms, alleging that they are offering funds and grants to young entrepreneurs. The ministry spokesperson urged Namibians to report such messages from scammers.
The Ministry of Finance says since last month it has been inundated with queries from members of the public on the authenticity of information circulating on social media that they are providing grants and funding to small businesses. The spokesperson of the ministry said such information is fake and not sanctioned by their office.
This information that has been circulating, when you look at it, it looks like something genuine because they have also designed a form where applicants have to fill in their particulars, and that form also has or bears the coat of arms. What we want to inform the public is that they should be vigilant because this information is fake. We would like to caution the public that the ministry is not providing any grant to businesses, and the members of the public should verify such information that they are getting from the social media before they provide their personal details. So some of the people have actually already provided their personal details.
Shidudu said some members of the public only reach out to the ministry after responding and providing their personal details. He advised that people immediately delete such messages.
Someone who, after providing his personal details, is then coming to the ministry to verify whether such information is legit. So we just want to caution the public to be careful of such informations because scammers are everywhere. So please verify before you provide your particulars, because scammers are trying anything in the book, trying all the tricks in the book to steal people's money or to steal people's information. But again, the main point that we want to convey to the public is that the ministry is not providing grants. The ministry is not providing grants to entrepreneurs, and members of the public should try by all means to verify such information that they are getting from the social media. People should avoid providing their details. They should also avoid responding to such emails. If you have received such an email in your inbox, we advise that you delete it from your inbox, because scammers are trying all the tricks in the books and the social media sometimes people come up with all sort of things, and they design sort of things to make it look legit, but it's not. So please feel free to reach out to our ministry. We will give you proper information.
This is not the first time that the ministry is warning members of the public of fraudsters using social media posts and emails as ways of phishing information from unsuspecting victims. In 2019, a similar scam was making the rounds and the ministry issued an alert.
Thank you for watching. Join me again next time, and don't forget to follow us on our social media pages.
BBC's Smart Money program presents an exciting new technology segment dubbed Smart Tech.
Ghana have a problem of unemployment, also the problem of housing and schools under trees. Now Plus wants to use the problem of plastic waste to solve the problem of schools under trees, housing, and create more jobs for the youth in the country.
Bonjour. Hello, I am Saoudou Niang, director of the Palms Luxury Boutique Hotel in Dakar. I started by cleaning a toilet. Today, I am the manager of my own 5-star hotel boutique with 60 employees.
To give more people access to these life-saving vaccines, South Africa and India have proposed a waiver of COVID-19 patents, and the move seems to be gathering momentum after receiving the backing of the United States. But even if the patent waiver is indeed granted, can Africa manufacture these vaccines at scale?
Are you a CMAS member? Did you know that should you need medical treatment, you have access to quality private hospitalization, guaranteed specialist treatment in private hospitals across Namibia with Compliment Gap? Compliment Gap is a complimentary product for CMAS members only, which covers the shortfall between what CMAS pays and private hospitals charge. You and your family have more than 2 million in medical gap cover per year at a very affordable price. That's not all. You also have access to emergency evacuation within Namibia and $10 million international travel cover for those unforeseen events abroad. Take the financial burden off your shoulders. Invest in your family's health. SMS GAP to 999 555 and we'll contact you. Terms and conditions apply.
Time now for Comments Corner, your daily dose of comments from our social media pages. A 21-year-old mother of 2 aspires to finish her education after she fell pregnant. Having failing in one arm only to do her daily activities, Almatu Phyllis says she got sick at the age of 6 with malaria, paralyzing the left side of her upper body. TK and Waiki advised her to contact the Ministry of Gender Equality and Child Welfare. Pauline noted that she can get assistance from government for herself and the kids to go back to school or vocational training. Tomanguluka says the kids qualify for a monthly grant, adding that the mother can also register for a disability grant, which will help her to register for school. That is all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast only on Today on One.
know, COVID-19 vaccines may not only prevent you from getting seriously sick, vaccines allows your body to fight the virus well before an infection occurs. This greatly increases your chances of not getting seriously ill when infected. The government provides COVID-19 vaccines for free, and they are safe for people aged 18 years and older, including those with pre-existing conditions. Remember, it is important to go for both doses of the vaccine to make sure you are fully protected.
So, get vaccinated. Help keep COVID-19 out of Namibia.
This message was brought to you by the Nationhood and National Pride Program in partnership with the Ministry of Health and Social Services.
Every Saturday at 7 p.m., you can stay true to Namibia sounds with the Valentine's True Music Sessions. Only on 99 FM. Stay tuned. Stay true. There's no wrong way. Valentine's. Not for sale to persons under the age of 18. Drink responsibly.
Time now for today's sports update with Castro Ulumbu.
Welcome and thank you for joining me, Castro Ulumbu, for this evening's edition of Sports on One. The Namibia Football Association Secretary General announced the appointment of former Brave Warriors assistant coach Woody Jacobs as the Brave Gladiators interim coach and will be assisted by Mami Kasaona. His first task at the helm is to take charge of the Gladiators at the COSAFA Women's Championship in Nelson Mandela Bay, South Africa. Today on One Sports has more on this story.
As the search for a permanent head coach for the Namibia national football teams continue, the Namibia Football Association announced the temporary appointment of the women's senior national team coach to take over from Robert Nauseb, who was recently head at the helm, also on a temporary basis.
We would like just to announce that Mr. Nicholas Woody Jacobs is appointed as the interim coach for the Brave Gladiators. It is just an interim arrangement until a substantive coach is appointed. As we all know that we had interviews of the different coaches for the different national teams. However, those appointments must be made by the executive committee, and it was also handled by a HR consultant company. So we are awaiting those recommendations before a substantive coach can be appointed. So until the substantive coach is being appointed, Mr. Woody Jacobs will be then the interim coach for the Brave Gladiators.
Accepting the interim coach task, an excited Woody Jacobs showed appreciation towards the association for considering him for the post and stated that he is ready to start the journey. Jacobs further listed his technical team who will work alongside him as he keeps former Gladiator captain Mami Kasaona, who has been part of the technical team, as the assistant coach.
A delighted man sitting here today and willing to once again give my years of experience in male elite coaching and assist the girls to overcome, or at least to go to COSAFA and also do well, and not just go in and participate, but also to compete, because I believe that the Brave Gladiators has come in leaps and bounds in terms of the development, and judging from what I've seen, there's a good mixture of youth and experience in the team. So in all honesty, just delighted and raring to go, and once again be part of our national team and the Namibia Football Association for this endeavor, and we aim to do well in the cup. Not all of the technical team members are here, announced them, but in the nutshell, it will be Coach Mami Kaushona that will be the assistant coach of the technical team, and then Mr. Heribert Kapeng will be the goalkeeper coach. The team manager will be Ms. Natasha, as well as Ms. Justine Hamupolo will be the kit manager. We roped in a young, vibrant young woman as maybe we're also throwing her in the deep end, but Ms. Virginia, she doesn't want me to say that her surname is Shihero, but she's the niece of former Brave Warriors captain Bimbo Shihero. We roped her in as conditioning coach. Just recently she completed her fitness and conditioning certificate or qualification with the ETA, a well-known sports college. Seeing that it's women football, we want to empower the woman and capacitate the woman in this regard, so that when we leave here, or at least when I leave here, we must have women that will be able to take over the game. Why I say women must take over the game? Because I believe that the game is theirs, and it should be run by them, and no one else can run it better than themselves. But it's about capacity. It's just not because it's women that they must be in. We want to use the COSAFA as a preparation towards that tournament. For me, the ultimate goal would be to do well in COSAFA, although we are grouped against the might of Zambia, as well as Uganda and Eswatini, as it's now called. So I believe that we have the players to go and do well. And we are still busy sorting out the final squad that will be traveling.
The Brave Gladiators will start preparation as they are expected to participate at the 9th edition of the COSAFA Women's Championship from the 28th of September until the 9th of October 2021. Namibia is drawn in Group C alongside Zambia, Eswatini and Uganda. And that is all we have for you tonight. Join us again tomorrow for Sports on One, and don't forget to follow us on our social media pages.
Thanks a lot, Castro. Time now for the weather forecast.
Now a look at the weather forecast. First, an advisory from the VTUC Met office. Windy conditions are expected over the interior. The interior will be sunny and hot in the west and south. Elsewhere, partly cloudy and hot with a few thunder showers in the northeast and east. The coast will be partly cloudy and mild to warm, but sunny and warm to hot in the south. And wind will be moderate northerly to southwesterly. Now let's have a look at the minimum and maximum temperatures across the country and beyond.
That is all we have for you. Do join us again for a repeat at 9:30 and the Omnibus Saturdays from 9 to 2. From me, Maggie Forciedo, and the rest of the team, it's good night.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future. A hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
Prevention is important. Help prevent the spread of illness and keep yourself and others well. Hand washing is one of the most effective ways of preventing the spread of germs. Wash your hands regularly with soap and hot water, scrubbing your hands thoroughly for at least 20 seconds. Hand sanitizers can be used but are not recommended as a substitute for hand washing. Use sanitizers in addition to hand washing or in a situation where soap and water are not available. To avoid spreading germs, limit sharing of personal items such as utensils, cups, and dishes. Your skin acts as a barrier to germs, but your eyes, nose, and mouth are more vulnerable. Wash your hands thoroughly before touching your face, eating, or drinking. Avoid physical contact with others, including handshakes, fist bumps, high fives, hugs, and kisses. Social distancing is deliberately increasing the physical space between people to avoid spreading germs. While regulations may vary by country or area, the best guideline for social distancing is to maintain a distance of 6 feet from others. Germs can travel through the air from one person to another. If you sneeze or cough, do so into a tissue or the inside of your elbow to prevent the spread of germs. Avoid contact with ill individuals and insist they isolate themselves until they have recovered and are symptom-free. Clean and sanitize frequently touched common surfaces and high-traffic areas in your home and workplace several times a day. Share these guidelines with others and help prevent the spread of illness and maintain a healthy environment. An ounce of prevention is worth a ton of cure.
Many countries that have passed their first peak of COVID-19 are experiencing a second rise in cases. Is this a second wave of infections, and could even more waves lie ahead? Previous pandemics might give us a clue. The 1918 Spanish flu was the most deadly pandemic in modern history. It killed at least 50 million people. Its second wave was the most deadly by far, killing millions more than the first and third. More recent outbreaks, such as SARS and swine flu, have also had 2 or more waves, so it looks like the COVID-19 pandemic could have several too. The World Health Organization has warned about the dangers of a deadly resurgence. Many countries and places have seen infections accelerate after bringing their first waves under control. These rises aren't necessarily new waves. They could be spikes. Spikes are rapid rises in cases that aren't sustained, whereas waves happen over longer periods and often contain several spikes or peaks. Second waves only take place after a first wave has retreated. Many scientists believe more waves are inevitable and think a worse one could hit during autumn or winter. Some other coronaviruses spread faster when the weather is cold. If this is the case with COVID-19, it would put health systems under huge pressure. Many people are still vulnerable, and immunity to the virus might only last a few months for those who recover. It's also possible that mutations to the virus could lead to new waves. Hundreds of mutations have been found, and some could potentially make the pandemic more severe. One mutation may have already improved the ability of the virus to bind its spike proteins to human cells. This strain of the virus appears to unlock cells more easily and has become dominant around the world. It's unknown how the virus will continue to change, but further mutations could make it even more dangerous and harder to control. A reliable vaccine would help solve many of these problems, but it may take many months or even years to find one. Until then, we all need to make long-term lifestyle changes to protect ourselves from further waves. How are you learning to live in a world with COVID-19?
We know the world is a crazy place right now, but don't panic. Take a breath, slow down, or better yet, stop completely. We'll still be here when everything settles down. In this time of uncertainty, look to nature. She has all the answers, you know. We're not only giving ourselves time to reset, we're giving nature time to restore, revive, restart. We're saving ourselves and we're saving the world. Stay home now so that we can welcome you to Namibia again soon. Yes, the world's a crazy place right now, but don't despair. Find the joy. Cherish hope. Breathe. Take a moment. Take a few. And someday soon you'll once again be able to stay in wonder at this magnificent view. The world's a crazy place right now, but don't worry, we'll still be here. We'll see you again soon.
Beautiful souls, this is Nikita Winkler and I am here to share easy tools for stretching that you can do just about anywhere. This is a demonstration, so what's most important is that you take the time in each position that your body needs to release its tension. In this session, we will stretch the hips. What you'll need are yoga blocks or books, thick books, or pillows, especially if you have tight hips. You can do this on a mat, on the floor, on a blanket, or even in your bed. Let's get started. So we're going to start on the floor with the soles of our feet together. I'm going to grab around the feet. This is a butterfly position. So in order to warm up the hips, I'm just going to flap the butterfly wings. And again, take your time. I'm going to lean forward, and here, again, if the hips are too tight, you can place your blocks, books, or pillows underneath. You might even feel a stretch in the back here. From this position, I'm going to take one arm right behind me, not too far from my body. The other arm, inhale, exhale, press the hip open. And come back to center. Change. One arm right behind me to lengthen the spine, the other hand on the knee. Inhale, exhale, press the hip open and back to center. Now we're going to lie down on the floor. And first, before I get started, I have to make sure that my body, my spine is in alignment. I'm going to just open up the neck area. And you can spend as much time as you need here, allowing the force of gravity to weigh on the legs to open up the hips. You can place your blocks, books, or pillows underneath the knees. And gradually, you can take the feet even further down and spend enough time in each position. From here, we're going to go into an internal hip rotation. I'm going to spread my feet to the side, lean the knees inwards. If you have a little bit more flexibility, you don't really feel the stretch, just take your feet even further apart to deepen this internal rotation stretch in your hips. From here, I'm just going to place my feet, and without repositioning the feet, I'm going to take my arms to the side, and then I'm just going to rock my legs side to side, keeping the upper body facing up, shoulders down. And then I'm going to stop on one side, take the lower leg over the upper to add weight to deepen the stretch. Release the leg and switch. Other side, lower over the upper. And back to center. Last part, I'm going to spread my legs as wide open as I can, and I'm going to just row the boat. So what's important here is that the knees don't lift off the floor. Make sure you row both sides. Keep the knees and both bum cheeks on the floor. Alternatively, you can just lean forward. You can hang out on the pillow. Take your time on the blocks or on your books. And that is it. Thank you for joining me. don't forget to breathe into your stretches and happy stretching.
In a corner of southern Africa lies a vast and sparse land, where endless horizons, dramatic scenery, and untouched wilderness abound. (1,500 kilometers of harsh desert coastline, a mosaic of biodiversity, sub-Saharan savanna, acacia bushland, encased by 2 deserts. Home to wildlife and wilderness abundant, yet ever at risk. This is Namibia, home to some of the most noteworthy conservation success stories across the globe. Initiatives forged, manned, and driven by passionate individuals and groups.
People are busy there, walking for more than 45 kilometers a day.
Special species and wild locations under constant threat from an increasingly destructive developing world.
One of the world's true survivors.
This is the story of the Namibian wilderness, the stories of the enigmatic wildlife and natural wonders of her realm.
They are not a threat to anyone, if you understand them.
This is the story of those determined to preserve it, and thereby themselves.
Don't think I want to tell my children one day that we had rhinos in Namibia. I want to show them live rhinos.
This is the story of the last defenders.
We have been tracking them for about 7 days, and on the 7th day, we come across the butchers, and there was a shooting. We are not armed. We having a camera and GPS. We are just hiding behind the bushes. If I don't protect this species, who's gonna do that? So is that why I sacrificed my life to go on conserve the rhinos.
Armed out in the field with basically a notebook against poachers that are armed with highly dangerous weapons and more. How is this an equal fight?
I started right on the ground as a tracker, and I worked all the way up to be the CEO now, and I know how hard it is. It's commitment and dedication and the patience that you have for the animal. It's really hard. It's like you had something in your house that you are protecting for so long, and when you go away from home, somebody comes and kills it.
My name is Ban Ki-moon. I am Secretary General of the United Nations. I was born in Korea. I was 6 years old when the Korean War started. We had to run from our homes to the mountainside. We could see my village burning. The United Nations saved my family and my country. In my time as a Secretary General, I have been moved by the horrors of humanity, and I have been inspired by his heroes. I have wept at the memorials for victims in Auschwitz, Srebrenica, and Rwanda. I have dealt with tragedies that have gone on for decades, and disasters that destroy the whole societies overnight. I've also mourned too many courageous United Nations staff members who died serving the cause of peace. I believe in having a young mindset. This means standing up to injustice. I hope I will never be too old to ask leaders tough questions. I hope I will always have the energy to speak out for what is right. I think that keeps us young.